The tensions between Ghana and Israel have escalated further as the West African nation has deported about 3 Israeli citizens.
Tensions between Ghana and Israel have escalated further as the West African country has deported 3 Israeli citizens. Now, this comes as a response to the alleged mistreatment of a group of Ghanaian citizens at an airport in Israel. Ghana's foreign minister said that the government
So, is Ghana at war? What is the banter between Israel and Ghana at this moment? What is the diplomatic issue going on between Ghana? I know they understand. Is Ghana having issues with Israel? Hey, when did they start? This is GH League 24. If today's your first time joining us, make sure you look up there, subscribe to the channel. Subscribe to the channel. Share this channel to other people and make sure that you leave your comment in the comment section and tell me what you think about this video. I want to thank each and everyone who have been very supportive throughout this whole time when I started this new channel. Charlie, thank you very much. Your encouragement, your support is top notch, and I do respect each and everyone. Thank you very much. And let's get into the substantive issue. So, there is a continuous issue going on between Ghana and Israel, and people are everywhere trying to ask what the real issues are. So there was an issue when Ghanaian citizens flew all the way from Ghana, went to Israel because they wanted to embark in a cyber crime training and workshop that was going on in Israel. And for all you know, based on the information that we have gathered, is that when the guys flew all the way from Ghana, even before they flew, they got all their visas checked by the Israel embassy in Ghana. So they have got everything checked. The government of Ghana and the government of Israel had no issues before. So everything was actually on point. They have not violated any laws of the Israel government. And they flew to Israel to go and learn and train themselves about this cyber fraud issue and cyber security in Ghana so that they can equip themselves with the knowledge and come back to Ghana to apply it. Now, when they got to the airport, there were issues of people, the immigration people, trying to overlook into the document. When you go to airport and people are looking at you with some weird phase and trying to overstep their boundaries and ask a lot of questions, it's actually made them feel like there was something wrong. And then they decided to deport these Ghanaians back to Ghana. Some of them actually got the opportunity to enter Israel, but most of them also came back to Ghana. Now, when the issue happened, the foreign minister, Samuel Kujito Ablakwa, raised an alarm and then went on social media, sent in a report and gave a press release. Government of Ghana appalled at the ill treatment meted out to Ghanaian travelers by Israel authorities at the Ben Gurion International Airport. And this was on the 10th of December 2025. And then the report is on your screen, the release. The government of the Republic of Ghana wishes to express its strong protest and deplore the recent ill treatment meted out to Ghanaian nationals traveling to Israel at the entry port of Ben Gurion International Airport. The government have observed with great concern that since Sunday, 7th December 2025, Ghanaian travelers have been deliberately targeted and subjected to inhumane and traumatic treatment. On the day in issue, 7 Ghanaian travelers to Israel were detained at the Ben Gurion International Airport without justifiable cause. The detained included 4 members of parliament, 4 members of the parliamentary delegation taking part in an ongoing annual international cybersecurity conference in Tel Aviv. They were only released after more than 5 hours of strenuous diplomatic intervention. The remaining 3 were deported on the next available flight and have since arrived in Ghana. The government of Ghana considers the actions of the Israeli authority as unfairly targeted Ghanaian travelers and accordingly conveys a strong reservations against the humiliation or the humiliating treatment of our citizens at the Ben Gurion International Airport, it is worth highlighting that Ghana and Israel have enjoyed cordial relations for more than 6 decades, that is about 60 years, with considerable high volumes of unimpeded travel by citizens of both nations. This condemnable conduct by Israel authorities is extremely provocative, unacceptable, and inconsistent with our friendly historical relations. Following our inquiry, we find the justification provided by the Israel government being an alleged non-cooperation of our embassy in the deportation of Ghanaians in Israeli custody as totally untenable, as the fact confirmed that our mission in Tel Aviv has been responsive and compliant with international laws. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs will this morning summon officials of the Israeli embassy in Accra to convey our displeasure in the strong possible terms. Meanwhile, the government of Ghana is considering appropriate reciprocal actions. So when these guys were being detained, including parliamentary delegations, they were asked series of questions. Now, what happened was that they had not breached anything in Israel. There is no unlawful act. There is nothing. But the question remains: why would Israel people look at diplomatic people going into Israel in a different way? So when they arrived, the Ghana government, led by Okujeto Ablakwa, released this statement. And then they summoned the Israel embassy in Ghana, asking them, did we not come to you for visa? They say yes. Did we breach anything? They said no. So why would your government detain our people and deport some of them? Why? So then, Okujeto Ablakwa and the government of Ghana became very angry. And they said, then, tit for tat, it's a fair game. If things that not turn out in a way, we will also turn out in another way. Before we say Jack, every news agency broke the news.
The tensions between Ghana and Israel have escalated further as the West African nation has deported about 3 Israeli citizens. This comes as a response to the alleged mistreatment of a group of the Ghanaian citizens at the airport in Israel. The Ghana's foreign minister said that the government has been compelled to activate certain appropriate reciprocal action. He further added that after the officials from Israeli embassy in Accra were summoned over the incident, both the governments have now agreed to an amicable resolution. However, Israel has not officially commented on the matter. An earlier statement from Ghana's foreign ministry said that 7 Ghanaian travellers to Israel were detained for well over 5 hours without any justifiable cause, adding that these travellers were deliberately targeted and were subjected to inhumane and traumatic treatment. The reports also suggest that Accra's recent stance on the Gaza war could be the source behind the Ghana-Israeli tensions. In September, Ghana had condemned the Israeli bombings which hit Qatar, describing the attack as a clear violation of international law. Furthermore, last month, the Ghanaian authorities had urged the State of Israel to allow for more humanitarian aid into the Gaza Strip. And our correspondent Louisa Olani has sent us this report. Listen in.
Diplomatic tensions rose between Ghana and Israel following a week of back-and-forth deportations that put both countries on edge. It began when 7 Ghanaians headed to a cybersecurity conference in Tel Aviv were detained at Ben Gurion Airport. After hours of questioning, 4 were eventually allowed in without any form of explanation as to why others were not. In a swift response, Ghana deported 3 Israelis who arrived in Accra days later, a move Ghana's foreign ministry described as number-for-number diplomacy, vowing that any Ghanaian deported will be matched by an equal number of Israelis. Officials say recent Ghanaian travelers have since entered Israel without issues, and both governments are quietly working to de-escalate the row. For now, calm diplomacy is being urged on both sides, but the message from Accra is clear: respect must be mutual.
Now, if you look at the destruction in terms of Ghana's image, in the foreign front, when everybody is hearing about Ghana having an issue with Israel, people were keeping asking the question, and the Ghana government Israel for and the Ghana for in Cambodia. And I said you have banters with Israel. Then Okujeto Ablakwa decided that okay, if Papa ain't here, Bonenzo ain't here, then I'll also deport Israel people so that you learn sense, the Israeli government. And it's very, very serious. Then we also, the government of Ghana, deported Israel members, or the the people from Israel. Then there was another press statement from Okujeto Ablakwa. Ghana government deports 3 Israelis after the ill treatment and unjustifiable deportation of 3 Ghanaians as both countries commit to an amicable resolution. Following the ill treatment of unjustifiable deportation of 3 Ghanaian nationals by Israeli's authority, the government of Ghana has been compelled to retaliate by deporting 3 Israelis who arrived in Ghana earlier today. The charge d'affaires ad interim of the embassy of the State of Israel was promptly summoned to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, considering that the Israel ambassador to Ghana is currently out of the jurisdiction. Both governments have agreed to resolve the matter amicably. The government of Ghana will continue to safeguard the dignity of its nationals and also that of the other nationals. Ghana deeply values our relations with all different countries and expect our citizens to be treated with dignity and respect in much that same way as other governments expect Ghana to treat their nationals. And this was sent to all media houses. This one, Charlie, we give you thumbs up. This was a good call. But people are still asking, why would Ghana, as a small country, have issues with Israel?
And before the break, I told you we're going to be joined by the Minister of Foreign Affairs and Member of Parliament for North Tongue, the Honorable Samuel Okujeto Ablakwa. He's joined us via Zoom because yesterday a statement was released that indicated that following the ill treatment and unjustified deportation of 3 Ghanaian nationals by Israeli authorities, the government of Ghana has been compelled to retaliate by deporting 3 Israelis who arrived in Ghana earlier today. Honorable Ablakwa, good morning, and thank you very much for joining us.
And thank you for having me. I hope you're all doing well.
God is still taking care of his children. We're waiting for you in studio to have a conversation with you.
Yes, that is outstanding. It's been a long while.
Yes.
I will make time. Good. I promise you, I'll make time.
Good. So let's look at this particular statement that you released yesterday. Before the statement about the deportation of 3 Israelis, you had actually complained about the treatment of some Ghanaian nationals also in Israel, resulting in the deportation of 3 of them. Just by way of clarification, so the deportation of the Israelis was clearly a retaliation and nothing to do with any wrongs they had committed.
Let me extend warm regards to all the distinguished listeners of Joy. I can confirm to you that the action the government of Ghana was compelled to take yesterday is directly in retaliation to the ill treatment and unjustified, unwarranted, and what we consider unlawful deportation of our fellow compatriots. We summoned the chargé d'affaires of the Embassy of Israel in Ghana and strongly protested that treatment. The chargé confirmed that indeed all the persons who suffered this dehumanizing and traumatic treatment from Israeli authorities were people he issued visas to. None of them had violated the terms of their visas. They were not illegal immigrants. They were attending to a conference that they had been invited to. Most of them, I must say. There was another group also humiliated. They were on a personal Christian pilgrimage trip. So it is important to appreciate that these are Ghanaians who had been issued valid visas. They were going to Israel to conduct legitimate, legal business. One was a group attending a cybersecurity conference organized by the Israeli government. They invited Ghanaians and other nationals from other countries to attend that international cybersecurity conference they had convened. And then the second group, made up of Christians embarking on the usual pilgrimage. You know the significance of Jerusalem and other important Christian sites to the Christian faithful. So when this came to our attention, because they made distress calls, we intervened, and our intervention, after some 5 hours of a lot of backroom diplomatic engagements, led to the parliamentary delegation being allowed to attend the conference. And let me emphasize that this parliamentary delegation did not have members of parliament in there.
Sure.
They were staff of the parliamentary service. I just want to put that on record. There are some people who think that the government of Ghana is responding this way because they are our colleagues, members of parliament. Not at all. There was no MP in this delegation. We are responding this way because we are all Ghanaians.
Okay, but Honorable Minister,
if the government of Ghana does not stand up for its nationals, nobody will. If we don't insist that we are respected, if we don't insist that our dignity is safeguarded, nobody will do it for us. No other government will stand up for us. The government of Ghana must stand up for its people, no matter who they are, regardless of class, of status, or creed. We are all Ghanaian citizens first, and we are entitled to clear protection under international law, particularly the Vienna Convention.
So, Honorable Minister,
so let me just quickly conclude with the narrative. So the parliamentary delegation made up of staff of the parliamentary service, not MPs, were allowed to go hold their conference, but then 3 Ghanaians, 2 of them attending the cybersecurity conference, and a 3rd Ghanaian who was on pilgrimage. These 3 Ghanaians were unjustifiably deported. 2 of them on an Ethiopian Airlines flight and the other on an Emirates flight. So following that deportation, we protested and we served notice that under the Vienna Convention, the tool of reciprocity is allowed, and it is a tool that is used by sovereigns to, as it were, state their case and make it clear that we must have mutual respect for each other within the Committee of Nations. And we activated our rights under the Vienna Convention. That is what we did, and that is why, I mean, it was a difficult decision. We have friendly relations with Israel. We've had cordial relations for more than 6 decades. We don't wish that we should be having these tensions, but let us be fair. Ghana did not play any part in this. We do not deserve this. This disrespect and this contemptuous treatment of our nationals would not be accepted, would not be tolerated. And we thought that we send a very clear message, not only to Israel, but all other countries, that just as they expect us to treat their nationals with respect, to value their dignity and the fact that they are human beings, we also expect same. We are not asking for much at all. We expect same when our nationals are traveling. That is the message we are sending.
Okay. Now, since you talk about our relationship with Israel over the past 6 decades, and you've invited a Shashda affair, let's look at the resolution. How have we resolved this issue? How do we intend to resolve it?
So the Israeli authorities, through their chargé, have now apologized for the action they carried out, and they have called for de-escalation, because we made it clear that if they deported 10 Ghanaians, we will deport 10. 20 will deport 20. 50 will deport 50. We are not going to accept this, particularly when the reason they gave is absolutely untenable.
What reason did they give?
They claim that the reason they gave when the chargé was summoned is that authorities in Israel are concerned that our embassy officials are not cooperating, and that they have given them a list of 6 Ghanaians they want travel certificates issued, so they will be deported, and that our embassy officials are not cooperating. When we investigated that claim, the Israeli authorities don't have their facts right. Indeed, out of those 6 Ghanaians, out of those 6 people on the Israeli list, 1 is not a Ghanaian. It's been confirmed he is Gabonese. And so our embassy officials are right to have taken their time to do due diligence. Another one on the list is so sick, Israeli doctors say that she should not travel now. She should be cared for and recover before she is put on a flight. One of the others on the list, the travel certificate was long issued. So again, facts are not accurate. They are not aligning. Then there's another one who our investigations also revealed that the authorities in Israel had not even brought that to the formal attention of the government of Ghana through our embassy. In other words, our embassy did not know that that person had been arrested and the Israeli authorities want to deport them. But you see, in any case, even if you have rounded up people you want them deported, is this how you go about it? We are cordial, we are friendly. Bring that to our attention. If you think that the embassy is in Tel Aviv, the Ghanaian embassy in Tel Aviv is not cooperating, escalate, bring that to our attention. You have an ambassador in Accra, fortunately. The ambassador can request a meeting with me as minister. We can discuss that. It happens always when governments think that they are not getting the kind of speed, a kind of response, or if a matter is urgent and they don't want it to go through the normal diplomatic channels through our embassies abroad, they take advantage of their presence in Accra and meet us. You can meet me as minister, you can meet my deputy, my chief director, or the chief of protocol. There's so many officials at the foreign ministry you can engage, and we will deal with the issue that you are raising. So how anybody in Israel thought that because you are not getting travel certificates for people you want to deport, people not related, people you have granted visas to, attending conferences that you have convened, and others who are going on Christian pilgrimage, you will subject them to such dehumanizing treatment. It is totally unfair. And we will not accept that. We will not countenance that. We are all human beings. The black race is not inferior. And we will stand up for our people. That is the message we are sending to the Israeli authorities and to every country.
Okay.
Don't treat Ghanaians dehumanizingly. Don't undermine our dignity. We are all human beings. We deserve the same respect. Just as we treat your nationals when they are traveling to our country, we expect the same.
All right, Samuel Okudzeto-Ablakwa, Minister of Foreign Affairs, thank you very much, and we look forward to having a conversation in the studio. We're grateful.
You're welcome. Wish you all the best.
Let me roll your mind back. You know, when the president went to stand on the UN National Assembly's grounds and he made a fantastic speech and touched on the fact that the Israel people, they have presented themselves in a different way, touched that if they are dark, they quack as dark, they want as.
We here in this General Assembly have been playing hide and seek with language to find the right words to help us avoid or excuse what we all know is taking place in Gaza. But here's the thing, it doesn't matter what you call it. If it looks like a duck, it swims like a duck, and quacks like a duck, well, then it must be a duck. The crimes in Gaza must stop. The crimes in Gaza must stop.
I think that the Israel government didn't take it lightly. And they have decided to reciprocate the same actions to Ghanaians. Watch that video. Now, John Dramani Mahama led Ghanaians into this issue. He didn't think that the repercussions were going to come in this way. But it's very sad. Okudzeto-Ablakwa was invited to the Joy News, and this was what he said about the issues going on. Ladies and gentlemen, listen. We do not want to have any issue with Israel for. Masa, if you look at the issue going on with this traveling thing, if they decide to rain on Ghanaians, we no get stand. So please, I beg you, make everything calm down. Okudzeto-Ablakwa, what you did was wise. I love what you did, but we do not want it to transcend. Let sleeping dogs lie. Subscribe to this channel. Thank you very much.